All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into AI and qualitative research.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so specifically, we're going to be exploring how ChatGPT can be used as like a partner in analyzing qualitative data.
Oh, wow.
You know, like those rich human stories you get from interviews and focus groups.
Yeah, that's a really interesting area of research, especially since qualitative data is so valuable, but it's also notoriously difficult to work with.
Yeah, like think about it. You're a researcher with stacks of interview transcripts.
Right.
And you're just trying to make sense of all these different people's experiences, their emotions, all the subtle things that numbers just can't capture.
Yeah, exactly. It's like solving a puzzle
Right.
where all the pieces are made of feelings.
Exactly. And this paper that we're looking at today by researchers Lynette and Pretorius,
Mm-hmm.
it focuses on their work with doctoral students. And they had over 215,000 words of interview transcripts.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, just imagine trying to find the key themes and patterns and all of that.
Oh, my goodness.
So how did ChatGPT even enter the picture? Well,
It's great at writing poems and summarizing articles, but analyzing in-depth interviews feels like
it's a whole different ballgame.
a whole different ballgame.
That's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because ChatGPT is not just your average data cruncher.
Right.
It's a large language model, which means it can understand and respond to complex language in a way that traditional software can't. It's almost like having a research assistant who can hold a conversation about the data.
So it's not just spitting out word counts or basic summaries.
Nope.
It's actually grappling with the nuances of human language.
Precisely. And the researchers used a protected version of ChatGPT to ensure participant privacy, of course. But the core idea is that they could ask ChatGPT focused questions about the interview transcripts and get back insightful responses.
So it's not about ChatGPT replacing the researcher.
No.
It's more like giving them a powerful tool to dig deeper
Exactly.
into the data.
You got it. And one of the biggest takeaways from this study is the power of prompt design.
So the quality of ChatGPT's analysis was directly linked to how well the researchers crafted their prompts, like the questions and the instructions that they fed into the system.
So it's like the researchers teaching ChatGPT how to see the data.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
Yeah, guiding its analysis by framing the questions in a specific way.
And in the paper, Lynette talks about having to refine her prompts several times to get more nuanced responses, especially when dealing with complex concepts like doxa, which is basically the unspoken rules and assumptions that shape how people act.
Right.
And that makes me think about those aha moments we have as researchers,
Yeah.
where suddenly a bunch of scattered thoughts click into place.
Yeah.
Could using ChatGPT actually trigger those moments more often by helping us see the data from new angles?
It's certainly possible. In fact, Lynette even mentions that refining the prompts for ChatGPT actually helped her to clarify her own thinking as well.
Oh, wow.
It was almost like she was learning alongside the AI.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So it's not just about ChatGPT analyzing the data for us, but it's also about helping us think more deeply and critically about what we're seeing.
Absolutely.
And what about the results?
Well,
Was ChatGPT actually able to uncover anything insightful?
oh, absolutely. One of ChatGPT's standout skills was its ability to uncover hidden meaning.
Okay, now we're talking. Give me an example. Like, what kind of hidden meanings are we talking about?
Well, in one instance, ChatGPT picked up on a strong theme of illusio. That's the deep commitment someone feels to their field's values, even though the participant never directly said the words.
Hold on. It identified a concept that was never explicitly mentioned.
Yep.
How is that even possible?
Well, that's where the power of these large language models comes in.
Okay.
They can analyze massive amounts of information and make connections that we might miss. So it drew inferences based on the participants' actions, statements, to kind of reveal those underlying motivations.
Wow, so it's like having a research partner who can read between the lines and see the bigger picture even when the pieces are scattered all over the place.
That's a great analogy.
But it's important to remember that ChatGPT is still a tool.
Yes.
And like any tool, it has its limitations.
Of course, back in the real world.
Right. So what are some of the things that ChatGPT struggled with in this study?
One of the biggest challenges is that ChatGPT is only as good as the information it's given. So if the prompts are vague or if they lack context, the analysis is going to suffer.
Right. It's like trying to bake a cake without a recipe.
Exactly. You might end up with something.
Yeah.
But it's probably not going to be what you were hoping for.
Exactly. And even with well-crafted prompts, there were times when ChatGPT made connections that didn't quite line up with the participant's perspective or misinterpreted certain nuances.
Yeah,
So it's a good reminder that human oversight is crucial.
Absolutely.
So it's more about using ChatGPT as a starting point, a way to generate insights and identify potential themes.
Yeah.
But then it's up to the researcher to bring their own expertise and judgment to the table.
Precisely. The researcher is still the expert. They're guiding ChatGPT, refining the analysis, and ultimately ensuring that the interpretation is accurate and meaningful.
It sounds like using ChatGPT effectively requires a whole new set of skills.
It does.
Researchers need to become like AI whisperers.
I love that term,
Right. Yeah.
AI whispers.
Learning how to communicate with this technology in a way that gets the best results.
It captures it perfectly, the need for researchers to develop this deep understanding of AI's capabilities and limitations.
Yeah.
You need to know how to frame your questions, interpret the output, and recognize when ChatGPT might be going off track.
It's like any new research method.
Right.
You have to learn the ropes before you can really use it effectively.
Absolutely.
But this study also points to something bigger, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the practicalities of using ChatGPT. It's about how this technology is prompting us to rethink the very nature of research.
You're absolutely right. It makes us question the traditional roles of the researcher and the participant, and it pushes us to explore more collaborative and empowering approaches to knowledge creation.
Which brings us to the triadic model. The researcher, the participant, and the AI all working together. This study suggests that this kind of collaboration could lead to richer, more nuanced analysis. But how does that actually work in practice?
Well, in this case, Lynette shared ChatGPT's outputs with the participant.
Okay.
And invited their feedback.
Interesting.
To give them a chance to shape how their experiences were being interpreted.
That's a really interesting twist. It's not just about using AI to analyze data behind the scenes. It's about bringing the participant into the process, giving them a voice and a sense of agency.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the feedback from the participant, Calvin, was incredibly positive.
Oh, wow.
He talked about how engaging with ChatGPT's analysis helped him to understand his own experiences better and see things from a new perspective.
That's amazing. It makes you wonder if AI could actually help to democratize the research process, making it more accessible and empowering for everyone involved.
Yeah, it's a really exciting possibility, but it also raises some important questions about the limitations of AI.
Right. Can a machine ever truly understand the complexities of human experience?
That's a question that philosophers and scientists have been wrestling with for centuries, and it's one that we need to continue to grapple with as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
It's a reminder that even with all its power and potential, AI is still just a tool.
It is.
It can help us to see things more clearly, analyze data more efficiently, and collaborate more effectively. But it's up to us, the humans, to ensure that it's used responsibly and ethically.
You've hit the nail on the head. This study isn't just about the technicalities of using ChatGPT. It's about prompting a larger conversation about the future of research, the role of technology, and the importance of human judgment in a world that's increasingly shaped by AI.
It feels like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI and qualitative research.
Absolutely.
There's so much more to explore, so many questions yet to be answered.
And that's what makes this field so exciting. We're on the cusp of a major shift, and it's up to us to shape how AI is used to advance knowledge and understanding. But for now, I think it's time to move on to some of the broader implications of this research and what it might mean for the future of qualitative inquiry.
It's funny, when we first started this deep dive, I was imagining AI as like this cold, impersonal machine.
Yeah.
Just crunching numbers and spitting out data.
Right.
But this study paints a very different picture.
It does.
You know, it's about human AI collaboration, about using technology to like amplify our understanding of these incredibly personal, nuanced experiences.
Yeah, it really is a shift in perspective.
Yeah.
We're seeing AI being used not just to analyze data, but to actually empower participants, to give them a voice in the research process. Remember Calvin's comment about gaining a deeper understanding of his own experiences through this collaboration with ChatGPT.
That was really powerful. It makes you think about AI's potential to really democratize research.
Yeah.
Make it more inclusive and accessible for everyone.
Absolutely. It challenges us to rethink the traditional power dynamics in research, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of the researcher being the sole interpreter,
Right.
we're moving toward a more collaborative model where the participant, the AI and the researcher all play a role.
Yeah, so if you're a researcher listening to this and you're thinking about maybe dipping your toes into the world of AI-assisted analysis, where do you even begin?
Well, first of all, don't be intimidated by it.
Okay.
The study highlights the importance of something called prompt engineering.
Okay.
And that basically means learning how to talk to the AI in a way that gets you the insights you're looking for.
So it's a skill that any researcher can develop.
Absolutely. And it's crucial for getting the most out of these tools.
It makes me think of those fantasy stories where someone has to learn the secret language to communicate with like dragons or magical creatures.
I love that.
You need the right words, the right phrasing to unlock the power.
Exactly. And just like learning any new language, it takes time and practice. But the rewards can be immense. Imagine being able to sift through mountains of data in a fraction of the time, uncover those hidden connections and patterns that might have otherwise gone unnoticed.
It's like having a super-powered research assistant.
Right.
Who can point you in the right direction, but ultimately you're still the one steering the ship, interpreting the findings, and making those critical judgments.
Exactly. AI can amplify our abilities, but it can't replace human expertise, intuition, and ethical judgment.
And that's something we always need to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
So what's the big takeaway here? What's the one thing we want our listeners to remember about AI's role in qualitative research?
Well, I think AI is a powerful tool with enormous potential to enhance our understanding of human experiences. But it's not a magic solution.
Right.
It requires careful thought, skillful application, and a commitment to using this technology responsibly and ethically.
So it's an invitation to step into this exciting new world.
That is.
To experiment, to learn, and to shape the future of research in a way that benefits everyone.
And to never lose sight of the human stories at the heart of it all.
Beautifully said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground today, but this is really just the beginning of the conversation. AI is changing the world around us, and it's up to all of us to engage with this technology thoughtfully, critically, and with a sense of wonder.
So stay curious, keep exploring, and who knows what amazing discoveries await us on this journey.
And until next time, happy diving.